Okay, so from what I can tell, see, I got the cover off the truss rod, and basically, I don't think there was enough relief in the neck, so I loosened up the truss rod a little bit, and it loosened really nice and easy. So that's good for being so old. So I just did a quarter turn, and I checked it, and there was no buzz. And I was still a little bit high up here, so I lowered the saddles down again, lowered them just a hair, um, until I got a little bit of buzz here. I got a little buzz in the 7th fret, but I'm good everywhere else, so I'm gonna leave that right now. I may have to make a sacrifice and just kind of live with it, and I can live with that where it's at. It's not bad. But when I get everything else done and do the rest of the strings, then I'll see where I'm at, and maybe I can make a slight, just a little tweak, and get these and get that out of there. But the object now is to get the strings as low as I possibly can uh, without having really bad fret buzz. So now I'm going to check the intonation of that string and see where it's at. So we're tuned back up to pitch almost. Okay, so I'm showing it's right at the G. Well, maybe a tiny bit off. So I'm gonna get it dead on. Come up a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna press 12th fret. Ooh, you see? Well, I don't need to show it to you. It's flat. It dropped down just a little bit. So I'm gonna check a couple other notes. Make sure it's on pitch. Open. 15. Yep. 17. Oh yeah, quite a bit. So it's flat. So that tells me that I need to make another adjustment, which will be with my Phillips. Okay, so I'm going to take the Phillips on here and back to this little guy here and basically loosen it. Kind of pushing inward at the same time. I'm going to watch it. It's not really moving much because of the way these things are set up. So now I'm going to take the edge of the screwdriver, just kind of push the saddle a little bit. See there, now it slid after I pushed it because there was some corrosion and stuff in there. One thing I forgot to do is loosen up the string so that it moves a little better. So I can go ahead and check it now. Tune it back up. Back up to G. Okay. I'm tuned to perfect pitch, so well, almost. Looks pretty good. Still a little flat. Yep, still a little flat. Kind of come back out a little bit more, so tune it back down. This is where it's a little time consuming. Something you might want to do if you got some time to sit there and kill and you don't got anything else to do, and you're like, hey, I want to make my bass play better. I'm going to be in just slight adjustments at a time. Okay, there. That's probably going to do it. Let's see. But you got to keep in mind every time you change this, the intonation, the string height changes a little bit. Okay. So I'll have to check and see if that buzz, you never know, this alone might get rid of that buzz that was in there, or it might make it worse. Okay, so perfect. Ooh, a little flat. A little flat there. Now some of the notes are going to be dead on, and some of them are going to be flat. What I would do is just bring those flat ones up to pitch, and if that means that a couple of the other ones are sharp, then just try to find a happy medium to get them all. You're never going to get them all perfect, but you want to have the majority of them all on the same page. But always keep going back to your open note to make sure that it's still in tune, because if you're tuning it to open note that's not perfect, then you're just kind of screwing yourself over. So there, perfect D. C is a little flat. That tells me that since none of them are sharp, that tells me I could probably come back with the saddle just a little bit more until maybe I start getting some sharp notes. The problem is that these saddles don't have much more space to go forward before I start losing threads on these screws. So I can't go much further. See, when I twist that screw, the saddle doesn't move at all until I push it with the screwdriver. That should be good. Tune it back up. So you can see, it seems it might seem intimidating, you know, but how many times have I had to do this? With this one string, what, 3 or 4 times? A few minutes per string, and you should have it. It shouldn't take you that long. It's a lot harder to tune a guitar with a Floyd Rose tremolo system with the whammy thing, the floating tremolo. A lot harder to tune a guitar with one of those than it is to intonate this right here. That's a nightmare, tuning one of those. Okay, so let's try it now. Almost sharp on that C. Everything's looking good. Yep, okay, everything is good. I'm just gonna leave it. Beggars can't be choosers, right? Alright, so that's essentially that's a G string there. I got the height where I want it, got it intonated. That thing's like butter right now. Oh, so let's check the 7th for where the fret buzz was. Yeah, it's still there. And I'm gonna want to fix that up a little bit better. I don't want that much fret buzz in there, so but I would rather have a little bit of fret buzz than have high action. So I'm going to leave that where it's at right now. I'm going to get all the strings pretty low, and then go back and make the slight adjustments. So I'll get everything in good shape and then just do the micro adjustments later. So just kind of the major adjustments now. Now on this bass here, one of my other Ibanez basses, this one here, I actually have the action, I would say a little bit too low on the D and G string here, because I like the way it sounds when I get that fret buzz up here. It allows a little bit of a more harsh metallic sound on some of these notes, where I don't know, it gives it a little more snap. You can imagine it's the string snapping on the frets. Now you can imagine if your action is too high, that string isn't going to smack on those frets, and it won't produce that snappy sound, which it actually gives you a bit of an aggressive attack when you get that snappiness going there. That's why sometimes fret buzz is good, not necessarily fret buzz, but having that snappy attack on there like that. Okay, so I'm gonna close out this video, and I'll come back when everything's done.